It's the Gamble on Ginter podcast, and we're back with week 7 of the NCAA football randomizer. Season is flying by, but you're not here to hear me talk. You're here to listen to Ryan, who is going for his third straight 5-0 week. He has been 10-0 in his last 2 weeks, 21-9 on the season. The floor is yours, buddy. You've killed it. 70%, guys, 70% winning percentage on these, and these are randomized. He's doing the research himself.
Just trying to figure out what the best bets, just trying to get all the information that I can, figure out what the best bet is for that particular game. I'm just trying to get the best picks, and we've been super successful so far. So let me jump right into it. I'm going to do the first pick again, Pete. I have the Michigan State-Indiana game. I'm not too excited about this game, in all honesty. I don't think it's going to be a great game. Indiana's offense has been terrible so far, just turning the ball over left and right, not putting up a ton of points. They're actually giving up more yards than they are gaining, and they're giving up more points than they're scoring. That's going to be more of the same this week. Like I said, they're plagued by turnovers. It's going to be hard for them to continuously find success on the offensive side of the ball against this Michigan State defense. And I don't think Michigan State's going to cover this over-under by themselves. I'm going to take under 50 points in this game.
The only streak I have going this season, I've been 14-15-1, had my first push, went 2-2-1 last week. So it's been, again, we're trying to get over 500 here, but the one thing I've been consistent on is I'm calling a trap line. It's a trap line. I am 3-0 when I call trap lines, and guess what? I found a trap line for you, and it's in the Oklahoma State-Texas game. Now, Oklahoma State right now is sitting undefeated. Their defense has been exceptional, winning in tough places like Boise State, and their quarterback Sanders, one of those dudes who feels like they've been there for 5-6 years, has really turned the corner and has been a cornerstone. You want that veteran quarterback that you need through those matchups. Texas is going in a completely different direction. They had the absolute embarrassing loss, I would say, considering where they started, against Oklahoma, giving up 55 points. And now Oklahoma State is going into Texas as underdogs by 4 points. Yeah, this is why you're going to pick Texas in this game. Listen, Oklahoma State has been riding high, but this is where it's going to stop. Texas is a really good football team. Ryan knows as good as anyone, they have the best running back in football in Bijan Robinson.
Absolutely.
Their skill position players on the outside are really tough. They're going to be able to score on everyone. And if it wasn't for Oklahoma coming to their senses, they were going to rout them. They still put up 48 points last week. It's a 4-point spread that is starting to come down a little bit, but that's because people are looking at Oklahoma State and saying, I'm going to get plus money on an undefeated team. Sign me up. The number sucks. I hate a -4 spread, but I'm taking it. Give me Texas. They win big.
That's a good game, and I'm following it up with a pretty bad game.
You got a lot of Big Ten games.
Yeah, so I have my next game is going to be Rutgers versus Northwestern. Rutgers obviously going on the road. Northwestern hasn't necessarily played great competition so far this year, and they're still 2-3 on the year. The best competition they've played so far was last week against Nebraska, and they only managed to score 7 points. And Nebraska's more so known for their offense and their dynamic offense. Rutgers, on the other hand, has had a really tough go of it the last 3 weeks. Their last 3 opponents have been Michigan, Ohio State, and Michigan State. Those are the last 3 teams that Rutgers has played, and it's unfair to them. They've scored 13 points in all those games. I think Rutgers is the better team. They finally are going to catch a break. Yes, they're on the road, but this is the fact that they had to play such great competition over the last 3 weeks. Listen, iron sharpens iron, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Rutgers is going to win this game. Spread's too small, -2. You can even take the money line at good value at -125, but I like the points on the road, -2 Rutgers.
This next game I have is an SEC West special between Auburn and Arkansas. That's the fun thing about the randomizer, because these may be games that I would never even touch. And this game, it's scary because Auburn is, I think, the modern-day Jekyll and Hyde for this season of college football. Bo Nix has been there. They won last week in Death Valley, of all places, at night, one of the toughest places to play. In these games, I tend to go with the points. So I'm going to take Auburn plus 4.5. I like KJ Jefferson. on Arkansas' side. They put up 51 points in a loss to Ole Miss last week. However, I'm not sold yet on Arkansas. They have really good skill position players on the outside. Auburn is well equipped to be able to deal with that, and I think their offense gets going just enough to be able to cover 4.5 points. Again, don't love the number, but I'm going to take the points in this matchup.
I have also an SEC matchup in my next game. Kentucky versus Georgia at Georgia. Kentucky 6-0 this year. I don't know how much to read into this, especially when Georgia is giving up 5.5 points a game. And this is against ranked opponents. Last week, they gave up 10 points to Auburn. The week before that, they shut out Arkansas. What's Kentucky going to do? Kentucky's known for their defense. They're not known for their offense. Their offense isn't dynamic enough to keep up with the defense of Georgia. Georgia's just going to keep the ball on the ground, control the clock, control the entire game. They're not going to, I don't know if it's going to be a high-scoring game, but, I mean, this minus 21 spread seems to be a lot. But when you take a look at Georgia's defense, Kentucky's not going to be able to move the ball. 21 points might not be that much, and it might be earlier than you think that we reach that 21-point spread. I'm going to take Georgia minus 21 at home.
Again, I think the best team in college football right now is Georgia. And that's been especially prevalent with the Alabama loss last week. Next game I have is a fun one in the ACC, again, with two teams. Virginia Tech is at home. They're going to be taking on a very good Pittsburgh team. Now, Pittsburgh probably is one of the more improved teams. Kenny Pickett is a star quarterback that they have there. You look at their games, their schedule hasn't been impressive. Although one of their road victories this season was going into Rocky Top and beating the Tennessee Volunteers, who are also very improved. So that is a very good win. I don't like the dynamic going into Blacksburg for this one. Yes, Kenny Pickett is a good quarterback. I think he'll have a solid game. But I also think Virginia Tech will be able to expose some things, be able to control the run game. And that's a tough place to play. It really is. So when I'm getting 5 points for Virginia Tech at home, I'm going to take them. And again, terrible number, but I'm going to take the points in this situation. Give me Virginia Tech. Their defense hangs with it. With Pittsburgh, I hope it's a 3-point Pittsburgh win.
All right, so this is the game that I think is going to be the game of the week this week. Think Texas, Oklahoma last week. We've got Ole Miss, Tennessee. We all know that both of these teams can score points. 82 points is the over-under for this game, and I'm almost positive that's a record. I'm not going to even touch the over-under. I want nothing to do with it.
I hope
that's where everybody's at. Everybody's looking at this point number total. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking the spread. Now this is going to be Matt Corral's Heisman game. When we're talking at the end of the year, when you're making a case for someone's Heisman candidacy, this is going to be the game that we're talking about. I think Matt Corral absolutely explodes this game. I definitely think that Matt Corral is going to have 5+ touchdowns this week. And it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be a close game. But I think Ole Miss is going to pull this out. And again, on the road in Tennessee, they're getting a small number. I like the -2. I'm going to take Ole Miss -2 on the road against Tennessee. Matt Corral's going to go nuts.
Let there be no mistake. Matt Corral is the best quarterback in college football, bar none. I will not hear your argument for any other quarterback. That is the best quarterback in college football. End of discussion. The next 2 games I have is in my conference, Mountain West football, baby.
This is your
just happened to get 2
forte.
Mountain West games this week. But first game that we have, Fresno State is taking on Wyoming. Very little notes specifically on Wyoming. They did lose last week to Air Force, but they do have to play literally the highest stadium in Laramie, Wyoming. Fresno State is coming off a tough loss at Hawaii. Again, tough travel place, but they had the bye. They've been able to recuperate. They are still the number 4 passing offense in all of college football. So I'm going to take the 3.5. I think they rebound off a tough loss in a tough location. They're able to throw the ball against a team who was just preparing for the triple option. Now they're going to face an air raid offense. Man, it's tough out there for the Mountain West. Give me Fresno State. Give me the points, -3.5.
Nice. Okay, so my last game, it's actually between BYU and Baylor, and I've had BYU, I think this is now the 3rd or 4th time.
No one knows Utah football better than Ryan.
BYU is going on the road to Baylor, who has been, they've both been really good this year. BYU has been great. All the way up until last week, they kind of surprised me a little bit, losing to Boise State. Baylor has been very, very good. And BYU is obviously known for their defense. Baylor's offense, I think, is going to be able to overpower it, especially at home. I think this could get a little ugly. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think BYU, I'm not going to say blowout, but this 5-point spread seems a little low. I'm going to take Baylor -5 at home against BYU.
Last game I have, like I said, is in the Mountain West Conference, and we've got Air Force taking on Boise State on the blue turf. Now, the wrong team is favored in this matchup. I'm going to just say it from the jump because I think this is such a mismatch that's not being seen on paper, and the only reason Boise State is favored in this game is because of blue turf. Literally, that's it. They have shown nothing this season that they should be favored. They are 1-2 at home, and their one win was against UTEP. They've had quarterback trouble all season long. I just see a team in Air Force, and personally, this includes a San Diego State team that is ranked. They're the most complete team in the Mountain West Conference. The way that they're able to run the triple option with the defense that they're able to put out there, I'm very high on Air Force. I think they win the conference at the end of the year. But when you break it down, Boise State is 116th against the run. That's really bad when you're preparing for the second-ranked rushing offense. The triple option
a team that's just going to run all day.
In Air Force. Again, the home field advantage is, I guess, something, but I think Air Force will come out prepared. Plus 3.5 points, money line, -3.5 points. I'm taking Air Force. Make sure to give us a follow at Gamble on Ginter on Instagram and Twitter. We have daily content going all the time on Twitter. Make sure to give us a follow there. We'll see you guys next week. Good luck in all of your bets.